Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our March the 17th lesson in A Course in Miracles workbook for students, St. Patrick's Day. From the original edition, lesson 76. I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God's. We have observed before how many senseless things have seemed to you to be salvation. Each has imprisoned you with laws as senseless as itself. You are not bound by them. Yet to understand that this is so, you must first realize salvation lies not there. While you would seek for it in things that have no meaning, you bind yourself to laws that make no sense. Thus do you seek to prove salvation is where it is not. Today we will be glad you cannot prove it. The idea for today tells you once again how simple is salvation. Look for it where it waits for you, and there it will be found. Look nowhere else, for it is nowhere else. Think of the freedom and the recognition that you are not bound by all the strange and twisted laws which you have set up to save you. You really think that you would starve unless you have stacks of green paper strips and piles of metal discs. You really think a small round pellet or some fluid pushed into your veins through a sharpened needle will ward off death. You really think you are alone unless another body is with you. It is insanity that thinks these things. You call them laws and put them under different names in a long category of rituals that have no use and serve no purpose. You think you must obey the laws of medicine, of economics, and of health. Protect the body and you will be saved. These are not laws, but madness. The body is endangered by the mind that hurts itself. Let's read that one again. The body is endangered by the mind that hurts itself. The body suffers that the mind will fail to see it is the victim of itself. The body's suffering is a mask the mind holds up to hide what really suffers. It would not understand it is its own enemy, that it attacks itself and wants to die. It is from this your laws would save the body. It is for this you think you are a body. There is no law except the laws of God. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize that it applies to everything you have made in opposition to His will. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything that you have made in opposition to His will. Your magic has no meaning. What it is meant to save does not exist. Only what it is meant to hide will save you. The laws of God can never be replaced. It's kind of bright out here and I'm not sure it's recording. The laws of God can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that this is so. It is no longer a truth which we would hide. We realize instead it is a truth which keeps us free forever. Magic imprisoned, but the laws of God set free. The light has come because there are no laws but His. We will begin the longer practice period today with a short review of the different kind of laws we have believed we must obey. These would include, for example, the laws of nutrition, the laws of immunization, of medication, and of the body's protection in innumerable ways. Think further. You believe in the laws of friendship, of good relationships, and reciprocity. Perhaps you even think there are laws which set forth what is God's and what is yours. Reminds me of paying a tithe. I always thought, well, 10%? Well, it's really all God's, not just 10%. Many religions have been based on this. Perhaps you even think there are laws which set forth what is God's and what is yours. Many religions have been based on this. They would not save, but damn in heaven's name. Yet they are no more strange than other laws you hold you must obey to make you safe. There are no laws but God's. Dismiss all foolish magical beliefs today and hold your mind in silent readiness to hear the voice that speaks the truth to you. You will be listening to one who says there is no loss under the laws of God. Payment is neither given nor received. Exchange cannot be made. There are no substitutes, and nothing is replaced by something else. God's laws forever give and never take. Hear him who tells you this, and realize how foolish are the laws you thought upheld the world you thought you saw. Then listen further. He will tell you more about the love your Father has for you, about the endless joy he offers you. About the endless joy he offers you, about his yearning for his only Son, created as his channel for creation, denied to him by his belief in hell. Let us today open God's channels to him and let his will extend through us to him. Thus is creation endlessly increased. His voice will speak of this to us as well as of the joys of heaven, which his laws keep limitless forever. We will repeat today's idea until we have listened and understood there are no laws but God's. Then we will tell ourselves as a dedication with which the practice period concludes, I am under no laws but God's. We will repeat this dedication as often as possible today, at least 4 or 5 times an hour, as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws throughout the day. It is our statement of freedom from all danger and all tyranny. It is our acknowledgement that God is our Father and that his Son is saved. Just as a recap in our 2 10 to 15 minute practice periods, you're going to start off, he says, by looking at, we will begin the longer practice period today with a short review of the different kind of laws we have believed we must obey. And of course, and then he lists several of them, the laws of nutrition, and which, we got to talk about here on, I talk about those things, and it's kind of a reminder that, the only thing that's really worth trusting is the Holy Spirit's guidance and the mind change that he is offering us. And then he goes on, he says, there are no laws but God's. Dismiss all foolish magical beliefs today and hold your mind in silent readiness to hear the voice that speaks the truth to you. You will be listening to one who says there is no loss under the laws of God. Payment is neither given nor received. Exchange cannot be made. There are no substitutes, and nothing is replaced by something else. God's laws forever give and never take. Hear him who tells you this and realize how foolish are the laws you thought upheld the world you thought you saw. Then listen further. He will tell you more about the love your Father has for you. I realize we've already read this, but I just wanted to be sure that that you really got this. Sorry about the dog barking. About the endless joy he offers you, about his yearning for his only Son, created as his channel for creation, denied to him by his belief in hell. Let us today open God's channels to him and let his will extend through us to him. Thus is creation endlessly increased. His voice will speak of this to us as well as of the joys of heaven, which his laws keep limitless forever. We will repeat today's idea until we have listened and understood. There are no laws but God's. Then we will tell ourselves as a dedication with which the practice period concludes, I am under no laws but God's. Jed, hush. Thank you. Please. Okay, let's go take a look back in our text reading. And we are ready for, let's see, what are we ready for? Time and Eternity, section 3, under the purpose of time in chapter 15. While you're turning there, I'm sitting out here in one of my beds that I worked up, and I hope that this is recording. I expect it is. You can see what I've done is I've made 2 furrows about 2 foot apart, and that's about as close as you want potatoes, and 3 foot for some, if you want them to grow all year long. I'll probably dig these up early, but I may leave them in. They'll probably do fine. You put these in with the part that, you see, I put it down into the ground. I loosen it down quite a bit, put them down into the ground, and then put a little dirt over them. And then I just leave this until they pop up here a little bit. When they get up about this high, I'll pull this dirt on up in there and hill it up even, maybe bring in more mulch and get that mulch up maybe this high. And these are Yukon Golds I'm planting, which, you know, the claim to fame on the heirloom potato Yukon Gold, it's known for its buttery flavor, which I really like because I don't like eating butter. I'm primarily a vegan. I don't do it religiously, but pretty much. And so I don't like using butter at all. So if I can grow a potato that has kind of a buttery flavor, boy, that's really nice. I'll a lot of times make it a little moist by pouring a little juice from something I've steamed on it. Okay, I'm entitled to miracles. And excuse me, that's tomorrow's. I'm under no laws but God's. Let's keep that in mind. Now let's go take a look at our reading. Littleness versus magnitude. Sorry about that dog barking. Be not content with littleness. Be not content with littleness. Is that the right place? No. Time and eternity. Excuse me. The atonement is in time, but not for time. Being in you, it is eternal. What holds remembrance of God cannot be bound by time, no more are you. For unless God is bound, you cannot be. An instant offered to the Holy Spirit is offered to God on your behalf, and in that instant you will awaken gently in Him. In the blessed instant, you will let go all your past learning, and the Holy Spirit will quickly offer you the whole lesson of peace. What can take time when all the obstacles to learning have been removed? Truth is so far beyond time that all of it happens at once. For as it was created one, so its oneness depends not on time at all. Paragraph 17. Do not be concerned with time, and fear not the instant of holiness, which will remove all fear. For the instant of peace is eternal, because it is holy without fear. It will come, being the lesson God gives you through the teacher He has appointed to translate time into eternity. Blessed is God's teacher, whose joy it is to teach God's holy Son His holiness. His joy is not contained in time. His teaching is for you because His joy is yours. Through Him you stand before God's altar, where He gently translates hell into heaven. For it is only in heaven that God would have you be. For it is only in heaven where God would have you be. How long can it take to be where God would have you? For you are where you have forever been and will forever be. All that you have forever. The blessed instant reaches out to encompass time as God extends Himself to encompass you. You who have spent days, hours, and even years enchaining your brothers to your egos is an attempt to support it and uphold its weakness. Do not perceive the source of strength. In the holy instant you will unchain all your brothers and refuse to support either their weakness or your own. We're under no laws but God's. You do not realize how much you have misused your brothers by seeing them as sources of ego support. As a result, they witness to the ego in your perception and seem to provide reasons for not letting it go. Your relationships you've developed seem to give you a reason to not let the ego go. They seem to support the ego. And this is what we want to change. Yet they are far stronger and much more compelling witnesses for the Holy Spirit, your relationships, and they support His strength. It is therefore your choice whether they support the ego or the Holy Spirit in you. And you will know which you have chosen by their reactions. A son of God who has been released through the Holy Spirit in a brother, if the release is complete, is always recognized. He cannot be denied. As long as you remain uncertain, it can be only because you have not given complete release. And because of this, you have not given one single instant completely to the Holy Spirit. For when you have, you will be sure you have. You will be sure because the witness to Him will speak so clearly of Him that you will hear and understand. You will doubt until you hear one witness whom you have wholly released through the Holy Spirit. And then you will doubt no more. The Holy Spirit has not yet happened. The holy instant has not yet happened to you. Yet it will, and you will recognize it with perfect certainty. No gift of God is recognized in any other way except in perfect certainty. You can practice the mechanics of the holy instant, and you will learn much from doing this. Yet its shining and glittering brilliance, which will literally blind you to this world by its own vision, you cannot supply. And here it is, all in this instant, complete, accomplished, and given wholly. And last paragraph we're going to read today, 21. Start now to practice your little part in separating out the holy instant. You will receive very specific instructions as you go along. That's nice to know, isn't it? To learn to separate out this single second and begin to experience it as timeless is to begin to experience yourself as not separate. Fear not that you will not be given help in this. God's teacher and His lesson will support your strength. It is only your weakness that will depart from you in this practice, for it is the practice of the power of God in you. Use it but for one instant, and you will never deny it again. Who can deny the presence of what the universe bows to in appreciation and gladness? Who can deny the presence of what the universe bows to in appreciation and gladness? Before the recognition of the universe, which witnesses to it, your doubts must disappear. All right. I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God's. We will repeat this dedication as often as possible today. At least 4 or 5 times an hour, as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws throughout the day. It is our statement of freedom from all danger and all tyranny. It is our acknowledgement that God is our Father and that His Son is saved. Thank you all very much for joining me. Until tomorrow, tell yourself often, I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God's.